welcome to another exciting edition of the Roundtable Show right here on Republic TV with me, your host, Sami Frimpong. And I'm here to look into the newspapers with my main man, Gabi Ochre from the New Patriotic Party. Gabi, you are welcome.
Thank you.
How has it been?
Well, you didn't use the usual Obake.
Very soon. I think the controversy, the dust hasn't settled yet.
So you don't know which one is going yet?
I don't know which one, whether we should be using Mohe or Obake.
Okay.
So for now, let's do welcome or Akwaba.
Thank you.
I hope all is well.
Well, all is well. It has been a good week. And, the dailies will tell us more.
A lot of interesting things are happening. I can see Asiedun Ketia all over the place and on the front pages of most of the private newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what is happening. But before that, let's go through the newspapers.
Let's do so.
We have the Republic Press saying, Educhum snaps Baumia's sorry, demands individual accountability. Gold board crashes smuggling ring. Gold worth 100 million Ghana cedis seized. The New Publisher, panic over Asiedun Ketia for President 2028. And we still have the gold board story here saying 4 million cash for you. Just bring these men alive. The National Voice also have the same story of General Mosquito, Asiedun Ketia. Asiedun Ketia's thank you tour kicks off his presidential run in the Eastern region. Declare state of emergency now. Catholic bishops to Mahama. The Daily Guide has the same story. Declare state of emergency on Galamsey. Catholic bishops. Ghana risk $1 billion arbitration in Bogosu Prestia mine deal. And the Informer, CJ urges decisive action on Galamsey, says time to act is now. GBA rejects ageist bias accusation. And government warned against selective prosecution. I think these are the headlines of the dailies. The Galamsey conversation is here with us again. Mm-hmm. And also we, over the week, I think last week or somewhere early this week, I heard the 2024 flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Bawumia, apologizing on behalf of his colleagues, all appointees of the erstwhile administration, President Akufo-Addo's administration, saying that Ghanaians should pardon them over some of their mistakes and the excesses of that administration. But just on the heels of that apology, we heard Dr. Educhum, who is also contesting the flag bearer race of the New Patriotic Party, coming out to say that that apology does not cover him because he believes he excelled as a minister. And if anything, he is rather of the view that accountability should be an individualistic affair. So that blanket apology coming from Dr. Bawumia is not something that he would subscribe to. Don't you think that smacks of arrogance? Because we don't only get apologies in our part of the country. People go wrong and you see them sticking their necks high saying they won't apologize. So if Dr. Bawumia has acknowledged that some things did not go right within the administration and he has stood out boldly to apologize on behalf of the NPP and is asking Ghanaians to give them another chance and that they won't repeat the mistakes of the former administration. Don't you think it was a right call? Why would anybody come out to distance himself from such an apology?
So this topic is a very, important one, and it's one that carries a lot of weight. The apology done by His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is one that is of importance, but it's come late. This is not the time it should have come because he had the chance a month after election. Since then, it's been another 9 months. He has gone on tour, absolving himself from all blames. Today, he stands on the podium and he does not even accept the blame for himself individually. He decides to hoodwink everybody in. You see, everybody was given a role to play in this governance thing. During his era, he was in charge of our economic management team. We had persons like Honorable Dr. Brian Champon in charge of Agric. We had Dr. Educhum in charge of education. They had roles to play, and if anybody has to give accountability for what they did here in Ghana, there are citizens who would recognize what everybody did. If you go on the streets today, the reason why people would tell you they made the MPP go was majority based on the economy. The person who was in charge and bragged that he had a policy and had the structures for which reason dollar would not fluctuate failed at it. So if he has an apology, he stands on the podium and said, I, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, failed you Ghanaians when I promised you that I would be able to keep the dollar stable. I have locked it and given the key to the IGP. You know, those are the things you say. And you tell the people, I have found a better way. I have made a mistake. When I'm given the opportunity again, you delegates that you are trusting me would not be disappointed. But obviously, he knows. And he has that sense of feeling in his heart that the delegates don't trust him. So he has to implicate every other person. Listen, you will not hear people saying that Dr. Yaweduchum failed at implementing the things he needed to do, because we understand that there's progress. It takes a while for these things to work, but they are new and noble or novice ideas that we had brought into the country. Free SHS. We had Honorable Brian Champon in his ministry being the first person to give us such a huge margin on cocoa harvest for farmers. We had not seen such huge sum being paid to farmers before. We had so much boreholes dug up by him for farmers. The irrigation system that he did under his tenure, unprecedented. You understand? The rate at which food prices started dropping from when he was moved to that ministry, unprecedented. Not to say that we left with the best, because we had intentions to do far better. But listen, you were in charge of the economy. You bragged to the whole of Ghana somewhere in 2012 that we should give you the chance. In 2008, it was the same story. In 2016, when you were having your lectures from university to university, you did not go and speak on anything except for the economy. That's what people know you for.
But Gabi, won't it be hypocritical to suggest that the only thing that led to NPP's defeat was the economy?
You see,
there were other factors that culminated, I mean, into the NPP losing the election. So, aren't you being unfair when you want to suggest that it was just about the economy? So, Baumia should man up and admit that he couldn't deliver on his promise. So, that is why the NPP lost the election.
So I'll be sincere with you once more. The reason why we lost, for every 100 people you count, majority is the economy. Respect how Ghanaians felt about your leadership. Man up, and that's what leadership is about. You see, Dr. Brian Champo, starting his campaign, meeting delegates, he actually spoke to them and made them know the shortcomings that was brought for the whole party. And he himself, Ohene Japan, has done that. Now you have the chance to meet the people. You accept and absorb your part as a leader of government business. Listen, you were in a role where you were deputy only to the president of Ghana.
So if, as vice president, collectively, he thinks that he needs to apologize on behalf of the team, what do you find wrong with that?
Which part of his own wrongdoings is he apologizing for?
He said, we wronged you.
You see, this is exactly what Dr. Yaweduchum was complaining about. Now, when you go about saying we wronged you and leading the conversation when you have gone to meet delegates who you're expecting to vote for us, you are saying that not only you, but everybody who is contesting against you are failures. And you are now marking them with a certain paint that will deny other people giving them the same opportunity. See, listen, we keep saying this. The party has given him such grounds that people would like to come and listen to you. So when you go there, do not go and denigrate people in the name of apologizing on behalf of everybody. Who are you apologizing on his behalf? Who has sent you for that? You went there to talk to the people about the brand Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. If they are not buying it, don't hoodwink people into your failures. Tell the people, I, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, I failed to achieve these tangents. I failed to achieve these targets that I set for myself, what I promised you people. The reason why Nana Akufo-Addo chose me, I failed to achieve it. But then again, if I get the chance, but don't say we failed. There are so many KPIs from ministry to ministry, sector to sector that can be shown that so many people achieved their own. The only reason they failed was because the economy was not backing it. The economy was not supporting it. Listen, when the minister gives free fertilizers and farmers are able to produce so much, but cost of fuel, cost of spare parts make transport expensive, how would food become cheap? In Dambai, somewhere in 2024, they were selling yams for 4 cedis, 6 cedis. It reaches Accra and it's 20 cedis. Is that the fault of the Minister of Agriculture?
Is that the fault of the Vice President?
Because he's in charge of the economy. Because he is the one who is promising that he is coming with a strategy to manage the dollar. He is the one who is coming with the policies and the proposals. Listen, every time there are good things concerning the economy, Baumia takes the credit alone. He says, me and I'm a yeah, me and I'm a kind, me and I'm a... Why doesn't he say, me and I'm a kind, we and I'm a my yenti and was an media? You see, the backing by some people with position in the party, including certain regional chairmen, is what is making Dr. Mahmoud Baumia not see that he is no more a vice president. He's an ordinary person in this country, just like all other candidates. And so if you are going to the people, you do not speak to them in a tone where they feel that you do not respect them. And he's going to find out soon during the election.
By apologizing, I don't think it marks of any sense of arrogance. I mean,
if you are apologizing
a collective apology.
That's what leadership stands for, is that you accept blame for yourself before you draw every other person to it. Imagine as a head of the family, I sit down with my kids and I tell them that myself and your mother have failed in making money available for you. What am I telling my kids? So I said, listen, son, I promised that I will take you to an international school. For some reasons, I am taking you to a school that is not up to the standard I promised you. But trust me, mommy and I will work together to make sure that next year you go to a good school. I accepted the blame and I showed him how we will solve it. So you take the blame. I failed in my role as this. But when you give me the chance, myself and the team, we will. That is what leadership is about.
I don't know what Dr. Brian Echampo thinks of this collective apology. I don't know. If
I believe that in the coming days he has. Yes, I believe in the coming days he will distance himself from it. And if he refuses to, and I don't think he will refuse to distance himself from it, because there are KPIs that he met. There are things that people expected of him that he achieved. We expect everybody who failed to accept that they failed, and anybody who has the chance to apologize for people, first of all. I mean, like they say, he who calls for equity must first come with clean hands.
Talking of failure, I was in Tunkwa on Ofin over the weekend, and what I saw, I am beginning to think that government is failing in this whole Galamsey fight. I understand that the new directive, I am thinking government is at its wit's end when it comes to the fight against Galamsey, on the back of all the things that President Mahama and his team promised, that when they assumed office, some of the measures they promised they were going to take. I was in Dunkwa, and on the bridge leading to the town, left and right, you could see people. There was a police checkpoint just a few meters away from where the activities of Galamsey were taking place. And so it would be very funny if government or those in charge pretend they don't know where these people are. It appears that some promises that were made to them, these promises have emboldened them, because broad daylight, just around 11 o'clock when we're entering the town, you could see the champagnes all over. You could see excavators on payloaders entering the community, and they passed all these numerous police posts and entered these communities. I understand that the new directive is that some military men are going to be positioned in some 44 Galamsey spots to check the menace. Are we safe? Where are we going with this fight? The Catholic bishops are speaking. They are calling for a state of emergency. And there are videos to show that whilst in opposition, elements within the NDC were pushing the Akufo-Addo administration to declare a state of emergency. But now the narrative has changed. The president is saying something else. Other people within his administration are saying something else. That we haven't gotten to the point where we need to declare a state of emergency. But our water bodies, they are all going away. Our forests are going away. 5 years from now, or even after President Mohammed's administration, will the story be different? What is going to save us from this Galamsey menace? In fact, what I saw, I gave up. And I think government is almost giving up. Government is at its wit's end. And it is very dangerous for this country. Playing politics with Galamsey, this is where we are.
Well, when you said in the next 5 years, our forest will be going away, immediately I thought of a book I could write. And the title would be The Man Who Carried Our Forest Home with Him. John Mahama will go home with our forest. He will end his tenure carrying our forest, maybe in his pocket. He will go home with it. Why would he go home with it? You see, you cannot stand for one thing, vehemently call for it, consistently over a period. And when you're given the chance to lead, you now say, well, I don't think it's the most important thing to do now. Well, I have not been for a state of emergency even when the NPP was in power. And I am not for it now. I am very, very, decisive. I've made a decision and I believe in why it should not happen. But this is my reason why I believe Mahama is not going to do it. First of all, he believed in that when we were against it. Now he has the power. And now he says contrary. Now we have more forest reserves being consumed on the day, according to Erastus Asare-Donko, who is the number one informer when it comes to Galamsey issues or environmental issues in this country. I mean, he's a proper journalist who is not biased towards any party or in favor of any government. Now, the Catholic bishops, for such a group to usually speak, it really has to hit rock bottom before they speak because they do not want to be seen as associating against or for any political party in this country. Now, I believe that they have various churches across the country. There are institutions cut across every single region, every district, every community in this country. You find an establishment or a building manned by the Catholic Church. And so they have people who give them information and they've gathered a lot. You made mention of the fact that after a police checkpoint, you saw Galamsey right after a police checkpoint. So the reason why it is happening is one, we have not incentivized our men who are supposed to fight the job. We are failing at it. Number two, we have not actually sat down and done a community-based discussion on these things. There are traditional heads in every community. There are leaders in communities. Are we engaging these people? Are we telling them about the canker and the danger in there? For the Catholic bishops to come and say this, obviously, it has gotten to their necks. Listen, the problem right now has gone beyond a few people suffering. It's a national situation right now. It's a national situation where we have Ghana Water increasing water tariff. It's a national situation where we have ECG saying they don't even have access to forest lines to put their poles, to even move power cables in between towns or cities. This is what the canker has caused us. Now, I believe that the only reason why this government would not do it is because they have created the impression that they can achieve certain KPIs that are beyond them, and they have no idea or no knowledge on how to raise the monies. Now, John Mahama, prior to coming to power, said, if the people stop Galamsey, what work are we creating for them to go into it? Now he comes into power. And the people that he enabled by promising them that when they come to power, they will allow them, even including freeing people who had been jailed. Today, they are emboldened by his words, and they are doing exactly what he promised them he will allow them to do through his aides like Mustafa Gbande, through some of the words of the then running mate. You understand? And as we speak today, we have NDC men, women in Galamsey capable and well armed enough to go into government offices that fight against them to shut down their offices. So I believe that the only way out is that the government knows what to do. Specialized courts for Galamsey, incentivize the military and the police so they are not bribed by these Galamsey people. You understand? Community-based way of approaching it. First of all, if we are going to stop Galamsey, there are regions that we know that Galamsey do happen over there. In every region, there are hotspots for it. Mark constituencies and deployment into those constituencies. It's a 5-day program. Within 5 days, Chamfans are seized, people are arrested, bussed to Accra, bussed into other regional capitals, made available for court.
Is there that political will to implement all these
All
things?
I'm saying are things that can only happen when there's a political will. So I'm telling you today that once these are not done, then there's no political will. There is no political will to end it because we are looking for dollars. There's no political will to end this because we are looking for money to be able to pay for things that we promise we can do. Now, why would he end it when he has no means and no idea on raising dollars, on raising cedis, bringing money into the economy? There is no way he will do it. So obviously, he is going to allow it to continue. I mean, he stood at the Flagstaff House and told Ghanaians that, listen, yes, they are destroying the lands. Yet, water is becoming difficult to get. Very soon we may be importing water. But as long as the gold is coming from our own mines, then Gold Board will need it. And at the end of the day, government benefits.
I think there should be a proper plan for this whole fight against Galamsey. The knee-jerkism from both administrations. I mean, today we have the ministry saying we are purchasing boats. What happened to all the speed boats that were procured? You know, I think this Galamsey conversation should be properly planned and situated in a way that we don't just come up with sending soldiers like was announced by Felix Kwachiofosu yesterday. I was wondering, we've sent soldiers before. And what happened when we sent the soldiers?
Well, the last time we sent soldiers and they shot people.
For a declaration of a state of emergency. Is this something you support? In just 1 minute.
A state of emergency, my fear with state of emergency is this. There will be victimization of political opponents who are into mining. You understand? Also, without addressing the underlying issues, you are not addressing the main issues. Once the ban is lifted, what happens? It means we just relax for a while and then we go back into it. Without, and one thing that I know about state of emergency, and especially in this part of our world, there will be risk of abuses. People who have legally, legitimately mined their goods and then they have it in their vaults will be picked up. They will enter into their vaults and then take them and say they had them in the name of Galamsey. So you see, I believe that before a state of emergency, certain things need to be put in place. Specialized courts need to be available. There has to be an important way of... Listen, what are our national security doing? Our national security are snooping on people, listening to their conversations all the time. Why are they not listening to these conversations? Finding out the top echelons in this business. Arresting them. Assuming the man who bought me my excavator, 20 of them, to work in the bush, is arrested and jailed. Do you think I have the capacity to go back to the jail?
It goes back to the political will.
So it is the political will. I don't believe state of emergency stops this.
Talking of politics, the NDC has come alive because General Asiedun Ketia is out there. Chairman Asiedun Ketia is out there all over the place in the name of a thank you tour. And I hear it has sparked some controversy within the party, the rank and file of the party. People are looking at him suspiciously, asking, what is the general coming up with? And we've all heard about Julius Debra being interested. We've heard about Haruna Idrisu being interested. I am thinking it is early days yet, 8 months into the administration, if the party will be engaged in all these political quibbles that would generate or degenerate into some tensions within the party, and maybe they may sway from whatever their mandate is. Asiedun Ketia is out there. Gabi, is he your man?
Well, he's not my man, and he could never be my man. But I believe that the reason why persons like Asiedun Ketia are bold enough to campaign is they are not so convinced that the MPP delegates will choose the right candidate, and so he can compete. Because in a country like Ghana, as far as Ghana has developed and gotten to, persons like Asiedun Ketia should not have the nerve, the courage to even say they want to be president in this country.
One of the most experienced politicians.
You see, being an experienced politician is one of the things we have been tickling ourselves and laughing with, and saying that is the reason why people should be honored or be given the positions of leading parties and becoming president. You see, it's not just about being an experienced politician. Where the country Ghana has gotten to, we need people whose experience surpass just politics, but they come in with some experience in business, innovation. They come with some experience in technology, something about infrastructure, a businessman, somebody who understands and would easily understand the plight of the people, not somebody who wants to satisfy party just.
Asiedun Ketia had a block factory, so in terms of business, I think
his block factory, his block factory. The successful years of his block factory was when we were building the Bui Dam. I mean, I don't think that Asiedu's block factory is anything to brag about or a story to tell the youth to pick up from, because they would not be able to achieve what he achieved unless they are politically connected for ill-motivated projects like that. So what I would say is maybe Asiedu Ketia is also taking this bold step in the very first 8 months of the government just so he denies the president of the hidden agenda of a third term, because people still do believe that the third term is a hidden agenda that could come up at any point in time.
He has rubbished it.
Well, you see, it is one thing to say.
I want to trust him on this one.
You want to trust John Mahama?
Yes.
Are there 5 things for which reason you could mention for us to trust John Mahama for saying this particular one?
He has sworn an oath.
Okay.
And his fidelity to the constitution of this country.
But the constitution could be changed by his mighty majority that he has.
Anyway, there are people
so
like
you see,
Julius Debra also around.
Well, so people believe that Julius Debra is the favorite of the president, and that every time there's an event for which reason the president needs to attend, they allow Julius Debra to rather go and speak, and so the impression is there that the president is also grooming someone who could compete against Asiedu Ketia, because when Asiedu Ketia is in power, which limits his possible 8 years in power that he could have enjoyed, the rest of the 4 years that there are things he expects to continually do in business and with friends that may have invested in he coming to power, Asiedu Ketia will cut it short. So he needs someone who could, be an ear for him, who could be a leg, who could be a hand for him at the Jubilee House. And it is no surprise that today we are seeing revocation of people's employment. And so they're asking people to come back, and then because they know that the man that led that charge, the man whose letter caused that, was Julius Debra. And so now they need to polish him, dress him, and then bring him back to the market. But a decorated monkey is what?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll find out.
These are all I think the conversation will be going on even out of our studios here.
Of course.
This is all time will allow for. Thank you, viewers, for watching another exciting edition of the Roundtable Show. It was with me, Sami Frimpong, and my main man, Gabi Ochri. Thanks for watching.